Are we good? Are we on? Huh? All right. Let's call the meeting to order at 7:04. On roll call, Mr. Bartlett.
Here.
Mrs. Graves.
Here.
Dr. Lewis.
Here.
Ms. Palazzolo.
Here.
Mrs. Rankin.
Here.
Mr. Stelzer.
Here.
All right, we're all present.
Oh, good girl.
All right, we're having a special meeting of council tonight to discuss one issue. Basically, it's going to be the CARES Act funding projects, various ideas and topics, what to do with some of the CARES money. And let me just make one quick announcement here to if anybody watching at home. I wasn't able to get the ICRC hookup for the interaction with people at home for tonight's meeting, but I've been assured that I will have it for the next Monday night, it's a week from tonight, council meeting. And we'll be sending out some extra instructions on how anyone watching at home can interact with us in real time live. So it should be exciting. It should be fun. See if we can get that up and working. All right, so Tony, who is obviously sort of the overseer of some of this CARES money, he's been doing some additional work and research on, various things that we can do with this money. And I think he's got some good information for us. So Tony, you want to go ahead and tell us where we are, what we've spent, what we've got, what we can do?
Yeah, Bill. So starting with Eli's worksheet from what was in last week's packet, we've already spent a lot of money. We've got $113,000 left after we received that $126,000 last month. So, and yeah, I did a little extra research and I was kind of digging in, and I even consulted with our auditors that come in every 2 years about, payroll for police and fire. And it seems, I sent this out that is covered under this act, that even though it's already in the budget, it's not, and they might be doing the same thing. It's not substantially different type of work that they're doing. It could still be used for payroll for those essential type of employees. But, in digging a little further, the chief sent me some information today on the police department. They they got 6 guys and they spend an hour each day, cleaning, sanitizing cars and equipment and whatever. And he's got, $55,000 of payroll already. And I calculated through the end of the year, it's going to be about $78,000 of payroll. So even if, let's say, for some reason that essential employees are not just covered, period, we could say, hey, they're doing substantially different things every day. And this portion of their payroll would be covered, as well as the pool. Jordan sent me some information, and Joe did some extra work on it. That's almost $12,000. Maintenance sent me some information. They got $5,000 worth of time sanitizing, and another $5,000 in supplies that they've purchased for this COVID stuff. So that gets up to about $100,000 already. And that's without the fire department submitting their information yet. And that would definitely get us over what we have received. And I know there's some other projects out there that we talked about, but to me, I think it would just be simplest just to use this for payroll type purposes and supplies, rather than try to get a bunch of projects done in a short amount of time before the end of the year. What are you guys thinking?
Yeah, anybody got any thoughts, any questions on this?
So, I've been talking to, traded emails with the guy who was doing the patio for the tennis courts, and he couldn't even commit to have it done by this year, so that's off the table. I do think, though, it still makes sense. We talked about the codification. I think we should still proceed with that, because that's been, it's been since 2016.
Can you speak up a little bit? I'm sorry.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Hard to hear.
Bill showed papers right in front of the microphone there. So right. I said I think we should still proceed with the codification. And to your point too, Tony, we can only, whatever work has been done up until December 31st is all that can be billed against that. But We had talked about doing that anyway. It's been since 2016. It definitely meets all the criteria in terms of getting stuff online so that people don't have to come into the office to be able to see what's truly in the latest version of the code book. So I still think it would make sense to go ahead and proceed with that.
Is that something though that has to be completed by the 30th?
Well, you can bill for the work completed up to that point in time, and then the rest.
And Bill, when we were on the phone, that's kind of what I was trying to get at is, can we talk with them? I know the lady I told you said to me that she was trying to fit everything in and cap the work at $11,000, and then probably any products we buy, like if we buy 10 code books, there will be additional charges, but we could ask them to bill us ahead of time for that amount. And then if we end up going over, we pay whatever we went over. But I think they could probably bill us before the end of December.
But it's not just billing. I mean, Tony checked on this too. It's work completed. It can only be
only work completed. Okay.
Right. You can't like prepay for stuff.
Okay.
So if they've only completed, let's say $8,000 worth of work, then that is something we could use against the CARES money.
Okay. They're probably not going to get super far. It's a very long, that's recodification, especially because we do it every 10 years or so, is a terribly long process.
Right. But we talked about going forward because Joni said the normal cycle is just every year or something like that's what we're supposed to be on.
Right.
Regularly. We haven't done it since 2016. So again, this is something we've got to do anyway.
Yep.
I think we should go ahead
as far as we can.
And done
this. Yeah, and I think there's going to be some more CARES Act money coming next year. How much, I'm not sure, but I'm sure there's going to be more coming.
Okay. For 2021?
Yes.
I mean, again, all the discussions going on in Congress and everything else, there's definitely, some people want to have something done. I think they'll eventually come to an agreement. So I agree with Tony. I think there'll be some kind of stimulus as well that will come out in 2021.
Well, then maybe it would be better to not start that project until after the first of the year and just go ahead and, if we can use up all of the remaining 113 on payroll, that's in the bank, that becomes money in the general fund.
I mean, I can do all the prep work and just have them begin the work. Yeah, if we don't think we have enough to, even if we have an extra $5,000 and they've done that much work, we can.
Again, we need to get this work done.
We do.
Keep kicking the can down the road.
Well, we're not kicking it that much further. And besides that, I mean, what would the cutoff on the recodification be? Would we want to take it all the way to the end of the year, wouldn't we?
I mean, yeah, because they're not going to be doing. Yeah, I mean, my plan is to work really hard and have a couple more meetings like we did where we have like 10 or 11 items, because there's just some obvious things that are pretty easy and straightforward that we need to fix. So we can go ahead and do that. And then cut it whenever we decide. I mean, it's clean to cut it at the 31st of December and then send the rest of whatever we have to have 3 readings. So, in order to get it cut at the 31st, we'd have to have it done now.
Yeah, but again, if we go to this every year, like we should be doing,
right? Then it's not such a big deal.
Catch it the next cycle in 2022.
Yeah.
And Maggie, is there, if we do it every year, is there obviously there's a price cut on that, right? I mean, it's not
I assume so, because what we're paying for, I mean, like you pay any attorney is you pay their hours. I mean, at a certain level, I think they don't want to just bill you forever. So they'll cut it. Like she was saying, I'm trying not to go over 11 grand, but at the same time, like there's going to be less to incorporate. And so maybe over time, the bill would be the same, but we will consistently have an updated code book. And so what I did is I approached the lady that's our contact there and just said, look, we're ready to go on this. Joni had already sent her earlier in the year, like April, when we thought we were going to go ahead before COVID got to be such a big deal. We had sent them all the ordinances up to that time. So now we have some more, but so she kind of has a good idea of at least the last 7 or 8 years what we have. So that was her estimate. And then, so yeah, year on year, it'll be cheaper. And I think they had a proposition where last time we did it, where they do it every 2 years, maybe. But I didn't get to that part of the conversation with her. We were really just getting through the, hi, this is Mariemont. This is our plan. Can you accommodate? And she said, yes. And then from that point, we'll start to talk about the finer details.
Yeah, I'm good with spending some money on it. That's fine.
Yeah.
We've got it, you know.
So can I clarify something, please? So we're talking about, as far as recodifying is concerned, starting in what time period? 2016, is that?
The last.
How far back are we?
Was 2013 or 15. I would have to look back at the paperwork.
Joni's saying 16.
16?
That's what I thought.
So it was 16.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what Joni's saying. Joni's saying she believes January 2016.
Yeah.
I think it would be cleaner to just do it at the end of the year, and then mark some monies from this and start the project in 2021.
Yeah.
Can you repeat? Bill,
You
can you repeat what Joni said?
Joni is suggesting it might be a cleaner way to do this, you know, to codify. You would codify basically to the end of the year, which is what I suggested here a minute ago, and that we would essentially, you know, earmark money, or, you know, we would have money, and then start the project after the first of the year.
But so I get confused when you say we're going to codify through the end of the year. So we are going to go ahead and get caught up from 2016.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying, Joni?
Yeah.
2020.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we'll go from
all up.
From January, just recant sure, make sure we're all on the same page.
Sure.
January 2016 to December 2020.
Right.
And then get on to the
every year.
Right.
Yeah, every year after that is actually a year period or a 2-year period, and it's January through December, and it's clean, so we don't have to remember, oh, we did it in April last time. And
right, exactly. Yeah, exactly. You've got a clean date. And also, like I said, I mean, then it gets us out of that thing, whether, you know, how much they can get done, and, you know, how much would we pay, and if it might get us on the hook. If they don't get enough done, then we're on the hook. I mean, let's just go ahead and, you know, because we've got such a good shot right now to use this on payroll. And it basically, as Tony just explained to us, it's the whole kit and caboodle. We're gonna be able to bank up, right, Tony?
Correct. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So.
Okay, I think that's great.
So we're starting.
So a couple thoughts on this. Can we just get the proposal about what it's going to cost us to do this, but we don't put this in our budget yet? Because one of the things with the CARES money is you don't want to have it budgeted.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So we can at least look at the proposal and not, in essence, allocate the money to it until next year when we know if there's more CARES money or not.
Okay.
That's a good point.
And Rob and you and I have talked this about a couple of these other projects, whether it's the redo of the office, whether it's the tennis course. Let's collect the information so we're ready to go. If there's CARES money, then we can apply it to it. You know, because instead of scrambling at the last second, let's try to get ahead of it a little bit and figure out, like for the office, can we order the furniture? What's it take to get the job done so we can pull the trigger on it pretty quickly if we decide. Yeah.
I think it could be a nightmare for us to embark on that kind of a project right now. And, you know, with that drop dead clock that's on it for December.
Yeah, that's a big barrier.
But I know we have a tendency to kind of forget about stuff when it's not a crisis.
Right.
But so we should stay on top of this and figure it out.
It's a crisis. I mean, people can't just go look at our codes. 4 years ago, we may have passed something and somebody's trying to, you know, make an alteration, or even like we're trying to enforce sign regulations.
I'm not saying I get the proposal and be ready to pull the trigger on putting it into our budget. I just don't think we want to mechanically put it into our budget yet.
Yeah, that's fine. We'll get it.
So again, we're working towards a goal of like January 2016 to December 2020.
Yeah.
Just continue to push forward, get all the information, and we can still go ahead and make the call when the time comes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's a good plan. and as you guys have seen, I mean, Bob Rich did some really good work for us. He put together, and I think an unbelievable time, a plan whereby we might be able to rearrange our municipal office with our tax office. I don't need to explain to you guys what the municipal office, is in need of. But
hey, Bill, has there been any order of magnitude estimated about what this will cost to do?
Yeah. In fact, there was. I got an email late in the day from Corey Cassidy, who put the plan together for us. And she estimates a total cost on a move, as you see outlined in those drawings, roughly in the neighborhood of about $55,000. However, because she was under such a clock, to do that, there's something like a 25% contingency plan in that. So, it could be anywhere from like maybe, 35,000 to, 55,000, I guess. I mean, when we move forward with the plan, obviously we'll nail these prices down better.
Does that include furniture?
Yes, that includes the furniture, that includes a new ceiling, and new lighting, carpet. If we were to build a partitioning wall in there, it's all in there. It's pretty inclusive.
Wow. All new office space.
Yes.
So the one watch out, and this has also happened for the tennis stuff too, is remember, if it was over $50,000, we're supposed to put it out to bid.
Okay.
49, got to get it down to 49,999, Bill.
Yeah.
And personally, I think the 55 number is, way, that's the absolute top number on something like this. I mean, I think, she's gone ahead just off the top of her head and put 25% in for a contingency. The great thing about a job like that is it kind of breaks down into a lot of parts. It's not like you're going to contract the entire thing with a single contractor. So there's really a lot of opportunity here, to sort of detail and massage out costs and, get the cost of that thing, I think, substantially lower.
Love to see that happen.
Needs it. I mean, I totally agree with needs it. So,
but again, I think, as I told Corey this afternoon, because, she sort of so quickly got this together for us, obviously don't throw it away. We will revisit this plan. And, the plan that you see before you too, by the way, I mean, you have to bear this in mind. That's not exactly the finished plan. Obviously, there's going to be some tweaking, to make this, work, not only for Deanna, who has some special needs regarding security with her files and so on and so forth. So, but I think it's a really good first look at it, a first pass at it.
Agreed. Yeah, I like this.
Okay. Yeah.
Is there a way, like to Joe's point? I mean, again, I think we should continue to move on this and hope that there is more funding that comes available to the municipalities to start getting some rough bids from people and things like that.
Yeah.
Well, I guess, like you said, you got to refine this a little bit more.
Refine it a little bit more, but like I'm saying, kind of the beauty of this plan is because it's so sort of segmented. You've got furniture, you've got carpet, you got ceiling, you got electrical work, kind of a thing. It would be so easy, basically, and I would be, more willing to sort of take point on this. To start, what would the furniture needs be, and start pricing out availability and prices and that kind of stuff. So it would.
Yeah, so let's continue. Let's
sure.
Start doing this other stuff. Let's continue in the hope that there might be more funding that comes available.
Sure.
We can do some of these projects. And again, we'll do the same. We'll do the same thing with the tennis tour.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Because we only have one bid so far, so it'd be, I know Kevin's trying to get some other bids.
Right.
So.
Yeah. All right. So where are we then? Does anybody else have any kind of, crazy off the cuff idea? And if so, nobody's going to make fun. Joe, you got anything? Avia, anything?
I got one more thing. The police was telling me that like Fairfield, they got a ton of money from CARES Act, and they're buying a bunch of new police cars. So everybody would have their own car, so they could, distance, and they wouldn't have to clean them and all that. So
the only thing for me, I think it's not covered because I think I asked already, but like those little speed tracker signs.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I don't think those are.
That's use a couple of those, but other than that.
To Tony's point there, though, about the police car thing, I mean, the chief did mention to me, and I just probably harped, on this with a couple of you others. apparently we are going to have to look at buying a police cruiser, next year.
Yeah, we didn't get one this year.
We delayed it.
So
yeah, we delayed it. But again, I don't think that's something that, I mean, maybe he could, I would assume he'd have to find a car, it'd have to be on the lot, and you would have to take whatever they have. Again, I think that's something that we look at.
Yeah, I think that's something we can wait on.
Year. Yeah. And possibly, to Joe's point, maybe, we look at it, but we don't necessarily budget for it.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well,
a couple thoughts are going through my head is that anytime, and I've always found it's a good thing to have more in your back pocket in case an audit comes up. And Tony, I'm not sure mechanically how this is going to work. Do we have to declare everything that we've spent the money on? Yeah, would it help us to have amounts well in excess of what we receive in CARES money? So in case there was an audit in the future and they knock something out, we could say, hey, yeah, but wait a minute, we had spent way more than this amount.
That I'm not sure, but I think we can only go up to the amount that we have received. But I have to do a report for it tomorrow. I just go online and I put in how much we received and then how much we spent on it. And then there's a section of, what type of expense. There's several different types of expense. So I'll have to look into that.
I'm just thinking, Tony, as you go through this process, try to identify more than what we're asking for. Mm-hmm. So in case they ever do audit it, that we'll be able to point to that, hey, wait a minute, we only asked for part of what we actually spent. So if they knock something out, I don't know if we can substitute at that point or not.
Yeah, let me look into
but
I think we already have that, Joe, because that's to Tony's point earlier. Our auditor has already told us that we could put 100% of the salary and benefits of our police force and our fire department and EMTs against this. And what Tony provided before was scale down to say, there's just.
And yes, we are relying on that opinion from our, auditor, about that this stuff qualifies. However, they're not the judge and jury on this process.
Right. And so what Tony did for the second part of it is he's identified this other specific work. That's the numbers he gave earlier, right? Those
right.
Things that are like, so to your point, Joe, the first step is, hey, we can put 100% of the salary and benefits against this for those two departments. The fallback is, okay, we have documentation of actual work that was done by these different groups, including the pool and maintenance, and that shows this was additional work that wasn't part of the normal. Yeah,
substantially different from their normal workload. Yes.
So I think he's got that. I think is what I'm just trying to make the point is I think he's got that.
Yeah, I think we'll be well over with the fire once the fire submits their numbers for disinfecting and different types of work they're doing.
Okay. All right. So anybody else got any thoughts on this? Should we take a look?
As far as like the payroll figures, how soon will we have that amount accounted for? Do we know? Like right now, do we know what the payroll figures are or
yeah, I know. Yeah. I know what, the chief gave me through today, and then I just added on another 72 days at the same rate. And that got us up to the 78,000 for the police. And I'm sure the fire will be well over the $14,000 that we have left over.
Okay. Thanks.
I mean, we've got very good records on the pool. I mean, we know exactly who the people were, the hours they spent, payroll amounts and all the rest. So, that number is very, very solid.
I think we got good numbers on the service too. I mean, John knows what John, because I told him way back, start tracking those hours, and he knows what he spent on supplies. So I think we've got some solid numbers here. Okay. All right. Well, let's, if we're all agreed.
Well, no, declare what it is we're voting on, because I don't know that we've got it.
All right. We're going to have a motion and declare that we're going to be voting on appropriating the CARES money toward payroll from the various departments, police, fire, service, pool.
And supplies though too.
And supplies. All right, so do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
A second. All right, on roll call, Mr. Bartlett.
Aye.
Mrs. Graves.
Aye.
Dr. Lewis,
Aye.
Ms. Palazzolo,
Aye.
Mrs. Rankin,
Aye.
Mr. Stelzer.
Aye.
All right, I think we're all agreed then.
Yep. And then we're still working on the 3 other projects: codification, tennis courts, the patio, and the redoing the.
Yeah, we're not going to.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's not forget about our pool, because we're going to have some stuff down there at some point that we're going to have to address.
Well,
Would that be covered through the CARES money?
I don't know. I mean, I'm being told the recreational facilities are, potentially qualify for this, but until you have the specific expenditure, you have to then go back and look at the rules to see if it applies or not.
well,
I did find out the other day. I was talking about the Hamilton County Block Grant Program that other communities have been taking advantage of. Some of our neighboring communities have been getting money out of it. Unfortunately, Mariemont does not qualify for that block grant program. And I asked why, and it was because our former mayor failed to return any phone calls from Hamilton County to get us enrolled in this program. So we have to wait till June of 2021 to enroll in the program to be eligible in 2022 for the program.
It doesn't have anything to do with our housing, like not having any low-income housing or anything?
That was the fear that some people thought that this money was involved in. But if you look at the communities that are involved in this, everybody else figured out it didn't have anything to do with it.
Okay.
Like Columbia Township just used this money to expand our outdoor dining down at the promenade.
Right.
So, I mean, there was a fear, an irrational fear that it had something to do with Section 8 housing, but it didn't.
Okay.
all right, we all good?
Yep.
Yeah.
So Joe, how do we make sure that we enroll in that? I mean, who's responsible?
The coordinators of that are going to be sending me information, and I'll distribute it once it comes in. I just had a phone call with the administrator down in Hamilton County on Thursday, so I'm waiting to get the email with the more information on the program. Because we don't want to
miss the mark again,
You think?
No, we won't miss it again. I mean, come on, we're, I think, pretty much on top of this. Joe's not going to let us forget.
So.
Hey, Joe, you want to give a quick shout out for Wednesday night?
Come on, Joe.
Come on, bud.
On your left.
Yeah, it's coming together. Hopefully it looks like we got nice weather. If everyone can be down there at 7 o'clock, we're going to have a big check presentation. So hopefully you can all get there. I think we're trying to get our press release put together and see if we can get any media to come in to cover it. So it looks like we've got good things going on. Come down, get a burger, get a beer. The 4-packs of the on your left pale ale will be available for purchase. And we'll see. Hopefully we get a good turnout.
Yeah. I think the weather's going to be fantastic. You're not going to want to miss this. So,
well, I'm sorry I will not be there, but I will be there in spirit.
We'll miss you.
I'll be there in person.
Okay, great.
See everybody Wednesday night.
All right.
Okay, that's it. I think we're going to adjourn here.
Thank you.
All right.
Thanks.
Everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. Bye.